Welcome back, watch fans. Today we are covering the Patek Philippe, the latest market update, and I'm actually looking at some of the latest price results from Loop This, which is kind of a small online auction house here, not here, but in LA. And the reason I'm choosing Loop This is I think their results or their market is a little bit more. It's a little bit more reflective of like the reality, a little bit closer to I don't want to say wholesale dealer pricing, but yeah, it's a little more realistic than some of the results that you see at Christie's, Phillips, etc. I mean, this is kind of a little bit more real market action, and pretty much I think what dealers are paying for some of these watches. And they're very transparent. What I like about this auction house also is, again, you're going to see a mix. You're going to see some modern, you're going to see some vintage, neo-vintage, and we'll cover a couple of other watches as well. But we're going to look at kind of some of the benchmark watches here. So let me pull this up. Look, before I get into it, guys, make sure you are getting our free weekly newsletter. Which covers latest, again, prices, news, previews on Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe. You know what? Let me show you what it actually looks like, because a lot of people haven't seen it. But I'm going to show you. I'll give you a quick. I'm going to give you a quick. Yes, I'm going to give you a quick preview. I'm going to give you a preview of what it actually looks like. So. Okay, so by the way, so this is actually what you're looking at here is one of this week's issues where, again, this is the email blast that you get for free, or I should say the email newsletter. And here we're covering the, again, unique Rolex bezels, including this pyramid bezel, a couple of other things. What are the market prices, etc. Some interesting examples, what you should be looking for, all that other good stuff. And what else do we have in there? Let me show you. Let me give you a couple of other issues. I'll do it real quick, and then we'll dive right into the auction talk. Okay, so previous issue we had, again, the article on Sylvester Stallone. Again, we got some more Rolex coverage, including, is the white gold blue dial, is that one of the best buys in the Daytona market? Is it? How about the 3940, which, by the way, you're going to see, we're going to be talking about the prices today. That is, excuse me, not the 3940. That's the old one. This is the 5740, the Nautilus, white gold Nautilus. So that's the type of stuff. Some of the things we cover. We got some, of course, some fun stuff like, again, we got some, celebrity watch spotting here with what watches. Again, stuff we're not covering here on YouTube, but we do cover it in the newsletter. That is what you're going to get. Again, this is the guy wearing the, who's this the guy? This is a Prince Michael of Kent. Who is he? He's some sort of relative to the Queen Elizabeth. He's a Royal Oak two-tone guy. There you go. Royal Oak two-tone. If it's good enough for him, should be good enough for you, right? We got the LBJ Patek Philippe Special, right? The watch you got from Tiffany. We cover that. A lot of interesting stuff. Anyway, look, let me go back to the auction. But again, if you want to get that free newsletter, make sure that you click the link in the video description below. Do it right now. And let's dive into some of these auction results. Okay, I'll do this one first. This is kind of the easy one. So again, the Patek 5740, they just sold a full set, right? This is the Nautilus Perpetual Calendar. Really great watch, full set. And again, these are about $155 retail, very hard to get. Impossible technically. In the secondary market, the prices were actually kind of crazy. I think they went to like 400 grand. They were definitely in the high threes at one point. But the prices are coming down, they're dropping. And look, I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see this thing. I shouldn't even say a couple of years. I would say the next 18 months, 12 to 18 months, again, the market is actually kind of deflating slowly. It's not like it's not a market crash, right? Like right now, things are just kind of deflating, and more and more stuff slowly trickles into the market. There's kind of a little bit less buyers in the primary market, so I think you're going to see these going for close to retail 160 or so. But at some point, I think these things are going to be a great buy. The 5740 is, again, if you want a Nautilus, white gold, perpetual calendar, that's the way to go. Okay, and 200 grand, so that gives you the point of this is kind of really what you should be paying, not a penny more than this, right? 200 grand, and by the way, this includes a 10% premium. 10% premium is what they charge, so that's actually pretty decent, I think. In a second, let me pop this in. And let's go to okay, so this is the big one, right? The big one. The 5711 Tiffany dial. And again, I've said this before, like the thing with this watch is if you weren't able to get it at retail, if you weren't able to get it from Tiffany, at retail, which I think is it's like pretty cheap, right? I think it was is 60 grand. I bet it was nothing, right? If you weren't able to get it at retail, you shouldn't be buying it at auction, because the flex is not to own the watch. I know it sounds ironic. The flex is not owning the watch. The flex is getting the allocation from Tiffany. That's the flex. So again, anybody who buys this on the secondary market, in my opinion, they're just a tomato can. But here's the price. So again, with premium, $1,213,000 basically. Okay, so $1,200,000, which means this thing sold for about $1,100,000 or so, and online, or I shouldn't even use the word online, but let's say in the secondary market, they're going for about $1,500,000, right? So $1,500,000. Hey, take a look at this. I'm using Chrono because that's a useful proxy for kind of where things are, more or less, right? In the secondary market. So again, they're starting at around $1,500,000. Chrono Direct has one. Interesting. Anyway, $1,700,000. It ain't cheap, right? Okay, let's move along. But again, I think you're going to see these prices collapse on the Tiffany dial. Those are not real prices. By the way, I'm going to cover some of these other watches later. They had some other interesting results, but I'm doing Patek first. Let's go back to the vintage. Now we're going to jump to the vintage market real quick. This is a really interesting watch. Actually, I missed this auction. This is a really cool watch. I think this is late 40s. The 565. So it's kind of like I guess a sportier version of the Calatrava, with screw down case, and you have this aftermarket bracelet. I don't know why they kept that in this auction. Maybe they should just put it on a strap. It would present better. There you go. Really, actually, again, stunning watch. Let's look at this a little bit. Let's look in detail here. So this thing is again, I think this is 560 or late. I think this is like 1940s, right? And what was the estimate? Okay, so that a $15,000 to $25,000 estimate, right? The watch, looks pretty good. I mean, the dial looks. I mean, it looks. Again, it's hard to tell from the photos. Is it dented? Is something dented? I can't really tell. Hang on a second. I guess they call the sight loop this because you could zoom in on the photos. Hang on a second. Let me see this. Something looks a little bit off. Yeah, there might be a little bit of a dent on the dial. Is that possible? No, maybe it's the lighting. But again, highly recommended that you do try to examine these things in person. It really is hard to tell condition from photos. Yeah, I mean, looks, I don't know, might have been polished a little bit. But let's take a look. And this thing sold for how much? It sold for sold for 15,000, so about 16 grand with premium, right? And what do these go for in the secondary market? And again, this is not such a good proxy because very few, you're not going to find too many of these on Chrono. Most of these are going to be just with dealers. So here's an example. They're offering it 26 grand. You get this about, what is this? Get the, wow, nice movement. Okay. Check it out. Hard to tell condition. I don't know if this is, yeah, it's hard to tell these conditions. But anyway, look, let me see another one. Let me see. Let's take a look. Patek 565. Are there more of these examples? Okay. Okay, so here's one they have for 38,000 with horrible pictures. Wow. I mean, can't see anything from these photos. So again, these are like late 40s watches. Shit. Is this a joke? I mean, I don't know. These pictures are a joke. I don't know what's going on. I hope it's not my connection. No. No, this is, what is going on here? Okay. Anyway, look, some of these pictures are kind of goofy, but that looks to be like a pretty good, looks like somebody actually scored a pretty good deal here at Lubis on this watch for 16 grand. I don't think they're going to lose money with this. In fact, I can assure you that this watch, you got to basically get a profit built right into that. Okay. By the way, let me digress real quick. Omega 18 karat gold, right? Yellow gold. You got the Saudi King on the dial. Pretty unusual, right? Seamaster. So theoretically, you can go swimming with this, right? You got the Saudi King on the dial, and it sold for only what? Under 3 grand. That's a deal. Again, you don't have to be Saudi to appreciate it. I mean, this is unique. This thing is unique. And you got, I think, hey, you even have the original buckle. You even have the original buckle, which is a plus. I mean, it's a little beaten up, but this is, hey, good value here. So, this is very interesting. Okay, let's stick with Patek. I don't want to get distracted too much. We'll jump back to some of these. Okay, how about this? This is, I guess, this is a Singapore edition Aquanuat. What makes this watch so special? The red minute track. They did that for the Singapore boutique. I don't know. What do you think of this? I don't know. The red is, I think it's a little bit gimmicky. You get the red rubber strap. It's gimmicky. It's like that guy, Mr. Wonderful, with Kevin O'Leary with the red rubber strap. It's a gimmick. It's a bit of a gimmick. All right. So how many did they make? I'm just curious. They made 500. Okay, they made 500 of these for the Singapore edition. And this is, of course, in steel, right? So steel. So what was the estimate? The estimate was 100 to 150,000. Just curious, what are these going for? What are these going for? Is anything offered on Chrono? Just curious. Okay, so let's take a look. Yeah, there's a bunch of them on Chrono. How many? By the way, that Tiffany doll, there's a bunch of those. There's a bunch of those listed on Chrono. And Chrono is just one small piece of the market. That's not the whole market. That's a nice chunk of it. It's a representative, but there's a bunch of these. So there's a lucky 8. There's a lucky 8 of these Singapore editions. Starting price about 165. Again, these are full set, minty. This one is in Switzerland. That's the cheapest one. Is located in Switzerland, and you get a guy in the U.S. also at 168. So, relatively speaking, this was a pretty good deal. No, $105,000, right? So they sold it for 105 grand, and the secondary market is asking 165. Now that is a big spread, right? Huge spread, huge spread. what does that tell you? I mean, guys, what does that tell you? Do these guys have a do they have just great prices, or is this a fluke? Look, sometimes you do have flukes in the market. These guys actually, you can find good price, but I think this is probably more representative of where the prices really are in the market. Again, 105 grand, and the secondary market here on Chrono is. Wait, hang on a second. Let me pop in. Yeah. So again, sold for 105,000, and again on the secondary market, 167,000 is the price. So this is the correct price. Again, in the retail market, maybe you should be paying 120 or so, maybe 125, right? That maximum. And again, this is what you see here. And I'll tell you why I think these are the real prices. This is kind of where the market really is, because again, look, to have a really legitimate auction market, you have to have a lot of participants, right? The more participants you have in that market, the more liquid it's going to be, the more prices will be, reflective of kind of reality, right? And the thing though with these guys, now this is a small auction. It's not like Sotheby's, it's not Philips, it's not Christie's, but they do have really strong connections, really strong networks in the dealer space, right? And I guarantee you, every dealer who's kind of a serious dealer in these watches, he's aware of this auction, right? So it's greed and fear, right? It's all about greed and fear. Nobody's going to let a watch sell cheap. They're not going to let it sell like at a crazy bargain price. There's always going to be guys who are going to be greedy, who are going to step up. So if you were seeing the price here at 105,000, I guarantee you that there's, serious guys who were in that auction who were bidding. And how many bids they had? That 43 bids. Okay, 43 bids. It doesn't mean 43 participants, but that 43 bids. Look, so who are the partners in this company? You got this guy, Eric Kuo, who's a guy in the Bay Area, who's a big vintage dealer. And then you have Justin Grunberg, whatever, who's from the Keystone. I don't know what they call it. I think they go by a couple of names. They used to be in Beverly Hills. Long-time dealer, very, very active in the vintage market. Big inventory. So they're not going to let anything go cheap, right? They have strong connections. So the point of what I'm telling you is that these are the real prices, right? There's real market participants in this auction. So I would say that these are, kind of a guide, more or less a guide where you should be looking to buy, right? Let's keep going. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Let's stick with Patek. Let's stick with Patek over here. Let's keep going over here. Okay. This is a bit of a funky outlier. You got a Patek Calatrava. Again, I love the fact it's got the Bayer retail secondary signature. Beautiful. Now, I love the case, right? I love the case design. Really elegant. I hate those back winders though. These back winders are so annoying. They are just so annoying. So what is this? This was 6 to 12,000. Oof, 6 to 12,000 and estimate, and it sold for 5,500. Now that, again, I don't know the real condition of the watch. Okay, that's a plus. So you get the Patek buckle, big plus. You don't want to replace that, so that's a plus. Looks like a new strap for whatever that's worth. But assuming the watch is functioning, everything else, that's a bargain, even for this back winder thing, which it's a nice buy for that watch. Whoever got this, great buy. Let's keep going. Okay, so another benchmark. Here we got another benchmark, and this is the whole point of why I'm doing this live stream, so we could see some of where things really are in the market. We got a Patek 3800 Nautilus. 3,800 Nautilus. And again, ironically, I actually went to these guys, about 5 years ago, at the Keystone, their shop, and they had a 3,800 and two-tone with a blue dial, which really is amazing watch. And it was like 14 grand. How stupid was I? I passed on it. I passed on it. I was like, I'm sure I can get it cheaper, or the price. I was like, I'm sure I can get it cheaper because, and no, that was it. They went straight from there. I think you never saw prices like that again, and I don't think you ever will. But I still am in the market for 3,800. This one is a little rough. This is a bit of a rough example. Stainless steel, which I guess people like this stainless steel, which I don't. And it's got some patina. What year is this? This looks like early. This looks like an early 80s. We don't know. Travel. You got an extract from the archive, so 30 to 50 grand. Okay, so all I know is this. What I know is that the sans serif fonts, which I prefer, those are the early ones. Those are from like the early 80s. Okay, let's take a look. Whoa, date of sale, March 1995? Ah, okay, that's interesting. 1995. This thing's rough. It really is very rough. 38 grand for this Nautilus. How much of this? I'm not even looking at the steel Nautilus, but I know that the two-tones are, mid-30s. How much is this? The cheapest steel? The cheapest steel on Chrono. Again, I think the smart money is the two-tone, just because it's a 70s watch, and 70s watches should be two-tone, in my opinion. Again, what do I know? So on Chrono, we got one here for 46,000. That's the cheapest one on Chrono, and with a much. Look at this font. Let me see the font. Let's take a look at the Sea Wave Diamonds. Okay, so there's a guy in New York. How is this one? It looks so. I mean, it looks. Yeah, look. You see. Yeah, the one thing is you do want to look at that. The logo on the buckle in the back. Whatever you call it. This one's been worn down, right? So this is a desk jockey. A desk jockey. He's been using the watch at his keyboard, and the crest, the logo is all worn away, right? That's one of the things you want to look for in those watches. Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't have it on the screen. All right, hang on. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so we got one. Back to what we're supposed to be looking at is, again, on Chrono. The cheapest all steel example is 46 grand. This one is a little bit rougher shape. Now, hang on a second. Let me just take a look at one thing. We're going to look at one thing real quick, right? So, as I was saying, because the screen wasn't up, one of the first things you kind of want to look for in these Patek Nautilus is that clasp, the buckle right there, the logo. You want it nice and crisp. This one definitely has been worn away, right? Worn down. So it's watch is kind of rough, right? 46 grand. I bet it probably looks even rougher in person. I bet it looks a little rougher in person. So yeah, 46 grand, and these guys sold it for how much? Again, let's go back to their thing and let's look at that clasp. So here it is, as you can see, relatively. I mean, I wouldn't say crisp, but it's in good condition. It's in pretty good condition. Pretty good condition here. So let's take a look. Back to this over here. Now, I'll tell you what I like more about the other example is I really prefer when you have this a dark date window, sans serif font like you see here, like you see right there. I think that's the way to go. If you have a blue dial, or actually any of the dials, I really like the darker font, unless you have a white dial, of course. But what is this one now? What year is this? I'm not sure. It's probably, again, I think this one is early. I have a feeling this has got to be 80s, because the sans serif they were doing in the 80s. Okay, let's go back to over here. Anyway, 38,500 is the, I think that's interesting. It's interesting to see that's kind of where the market determined this is. Okay, again, so if it was a little bit better condition, the doll was better condition, and this one does look like it's got some patina, some oxidation. Yeah. So again, 45, probably 45, 50 grand for a crisp example is where these should be. Interesting. I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised. I really would have thought that these watches would have dropped much quicker. The 3800. So you see, there's a lot of demand for those still. So I may have to pay up, because I don't think they're going to drop any further. Okay, so we get the travel time. 61,000 is what it's sold for. 51.64. Is it a full set? Yeah, box papers. 40 to 60 was the estimate. So it's sold. This is kind of where they're at, right? They're kind of in that mid 60s range. So those are still relatively desirable as travel times. Let's keep going. Let's go a couple more interesting examples of Patek, and then we'll jump into the other stuff. Okay, so we got a 3800, excuse me, 3940. We got the 3940R. Okay, so it's the R, rose gold. Rose gold, so which is, again, better than yellow gold, much more desirable than yellow gold. Is it as good as white gold? I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I like rose gold. I could go either way. But I think the white gold does look a little more modern. But listen, this is about the watch, right? It's about the watch. So 3rd series. And let me see. So we got box papers, everything here. Looks like, I don't think it's been, has this been polished? Maybe a light polish. The dial looks beautiful, right? The beautiful dial. Get the rose gold with that white or opaline, whatever you want to call it. This is great. It really is. I mean, it's superior to yellow gold. I would say, look, if you're going to get one of these, you got to go either white gold or rose gold. Okay, so the strap obviously is, forget about it. I mean, you're going to have to replace the strap, but that's not a big deal. Okay, so we got, okay, what year is this? Haussmann. Oh, look at this, Haussmann. Via Condotti. So this is bought in Rome. That's nice. Yeah, it's nice. What year is this? 2003. 2003. So this is final series. Everything is there, right? Looks like everything is here. It had a light polish, but that's okay. And what did it sell for? Again, let's go back to 47,800. That's a good deal. That is a good deal. How many bids? A lot of bidding. 55. No reserve. That's weird. It's interesting. Why would they do that? That's kind of like a gimmick, right? Because they know it's going to sell, right? It's just to get people excited, oh my God, this is going to be, it might be a bargain. I'm assuming, the watch is functioning, everything is working. The only thing you got to do is basically change the strap, which is, obviously you're going to do it anyway. It's definitely been worn, right? Definitely been worn. Everything is there, 47. And what was their estimate again? Their estimate was 40 to 60. So 47,850. So let's call it probably should have sold for like really, I think it should have gone for at least 50. So again, this is a bargain. Again, good price, good price. Whoever got this really got they got a bargain. They got a bargain because these are going for a lot more on the secondary market. Um, I actually missed this auction. I might have. Shit, why didn't I see this? I might have bought this myself because you kind of do need a backup with these because I'm going to be setting the white gold one to the for service, and I'm probably going to sell it after I get it back from service. I'm probably going to sell it in the wrapped in the plastic, uh, Sylvester Stallone style. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we get a lot of people on here. Yeah, look, this is not for the hoi polloi. Okay, well, real interesting example. I haven't seen one of these. So you got the Patek gondola, but it's diamond set, right? Is this okay? It's platinum diamond set, right? So I mean, it's a relatively basic, 60s watch, right? This might be a little bit later. Um, okay, so saying it's 25 or 30 with those. So 20 to 40 was the estimate. 20 to 40 was the estimate, which is, I guess, because of the rarity. There's not as many with platinum with the diamonds. Otherwise, you know, these are relatively common in yellow gold. Uh, okay, so the rarity factors again, they got 33 grand, which is seems like the right. Seems like that's what the market says it's worth. Looks like it's pretty crisp, unpolished, original. Let's take a look. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Um, let me finish off with the Pateks, and then we will jump back. We'll go through some of the other stuff here, which could be interesting here. Let's see. Are we done with Patek? Okay. Oh yeah, an early, not early, but recent, kind of a contemporary, relatively contemporary Calatrava. So basically 11 grand, hobnail, white gold hobnail, box paper. So you got a full set. The hands are kind of transparent case back. That's nice. What year is this? What year is this? I mean, not bad. Again, this is kind of like your basic Patek. Let's see. Oh, okay. So let's go back to okay. We're done with Patek. Let's go back to regular watches here. So it's been a while since we looked at these guys, and wow. So this travel time. Excuse me. The travel time here, or the dual time, I should say, from JLC. I remember we looked at this, and this example is in steel, right? Steel. Get a closed case back in steel. And what was the estimate? The estimate was 4,000 to 6,000, right? 4,000 to 6,000. I think it's watch only, right? No. The watch looks like it's got some, I don't know, may have some damage, a little water damage. Anyway, it sold for 3,600, 3,666, 3,666. Interesting. Okay, so I got one of those in rose gold, and they're great. It's a great watch. It was 9 grand for that. Retail, or I should say, secondary market. All right. So let's go into some of the recent results outside of Patek here. Let's take a look. Okay, so we talked about these Nautiluses. Let's take a look at the Cartier, right? Cartier. What is this, some Middle East edition here? Platinum. What was the estimate? Again, I don't really follow these, but okay, 25 to 35 full set. It sold for 25. Okay, what was the edition here? Santos Dumont. Okay, whatever. Interesting. I'm going to go through here real quick, see if we find anything that's interesting. I'm not a Cartier guy. Okay, so Breguet selling for about $5,000. We got one of these, again, white gold guilloche. That was really nice, right? It kind of tells you where the market is. And what was it? What was it? Was it a full set? Okay. Listen, nice little watch, right? Oh, you got a guarantee. You got papers, which is fine. You don't need everything. You don't need anything else. Pretty nice. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling if we see anything interesting. Resins. We got the resins here. Okay, we saw this Patek. We saw. Okay, I'll give you this kind of basic. You kind of plain vanilla commodity product, which is Datejust 2, right? The 41 millimeter full set, blue dial. Hang on a second. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so looks like in decent condition. So what is it? What they sell for? $8,300. $8,300. 6 to 8 was the estimate. So yeah, again, commodity product. That kind of tells you where, if you're going to get one of these, that's really what you should be paying for those. All right, so we covered the Omega with the Saudi King. Interesting watch. Let's see what else we got. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. So Hoyer, so basically Abercrombie & Fitch. I don't know if you guys know, Abercrombie & Fitch was actually like a safari clothing company back in the day. They made they made stuff for not just safari, but like safaris, fly fishing, that whole lifestyle, right? Safari, fly fishing, stuff like that, right? And so they had a very upscale customer base. They had a store on Fifth Avenue and 56th Street, and then they kind of went in a whole new direction, and they kind of started going after like the young market. It became this mass market thing. But back in the day, it was like a very high-end, kind of almost an exclusive brand in a way. But anyway, they teamed up with Hoyer to make a watch. I never heard of this before, but look at this. So you only get 11, 12, and 1. And this is, what's the function here? I don't even understand the function. You got moon time and solar time. So you got basically day, regular time. And then you have where the moon is based on where the tides are. This is, again, I read that in the description. So, and you get a chronograph here. So it's got and it has, if I remember, it's got a value movement, right? So there it is, which looks, stunning, beautiful, really beautiful, and weird watch, right? So, okay, so they had 1,000 pieces. They had about 1,000 pieces made, and the estimate was 10 to 20. 10 to 20. I would have thought they would have sold at the low end. Like, who cares about Abercrombie & Fitch? So apparently somebody, you get some real collectors, because it ended up selling for 30,000. Way over the estimate for like this weird kind of watch, which is, I wasn't aware that they even made watches, or that they were even important. So what is the point of the watch, right? Like, what I'm trying to understand is that what's the historical importance of it? Are they buying it for the Hoyer part, right? Which is the manufacturer, or are they buying it for the Abercrombie & Fitch thing? I don't know. This is like unusual, right? This is, whoever bought this is basically, they are seriously into that watch. I don't think you're going to be able to resell that and make money. So, you got to love it for whatever it is, whatever it does for you, right? So 30 grand, 30,000. Okay, let's go to some more commodity type stuff. Date. We got a date, but with this interesting dial, right? It's the string dial, string diamonds with these rubies, which is a very, it's kind of gaudy, like a drug dealer. This is like a real Colombian drug dealer type of look. Or, I don't know, maybe the Middle East, India, or something like that. For 15 to 20 was the estimate. Sold for, kind of in the upper range. You still have the sticker in the back. So look at this. Crisp, crisp. Really excellent condition. Was probably hardly worn. So 19 grand. 19 grand. Yeah. Okay, moving along here. Moving along. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. What else they have that's interesting here? JLC. Not. Yeah, they do sell. By the way, these guys sell a lot of resins. They do sell quite a few resins watches. I wonder why. I mean, like, is this? I wonder where these are coming from, because it's like a lot of resins for a small, rinky-dink auction, relatively speaking, and it's a lot of resins watches. Like, why would these guys be selling so many of these? Where are they all coming from? Anyway, 10 to 15 estimates, sold for 12. By the way, that's with the premium, so low range, low end of the estimate. I think, look, if you're going to buy a resin swatch, I think this is the place probably you want to look at. You want to look for them here, because they do seem to get quite a few of these resin swatches. Let's keep rolling. Okay, we cover the Patek here. Hermes. Let's see if there's anything else really interesting. Okay, I'll pull this up. Cartier, again, Cartier is always of interest. So you get a China edition salmon dial. Actually, this is a really nice watch. This is a really nice watch. And is that jade? Is that a jade? That would be cool. Okay, what is it? What do you get here? A limited edition of 300 pieces. Okay, that's good. 31 millimeter. Okay, some good size. Again, for a Santos case, yeah, very good. 10 to 15 was the estimate. Sold for below. Wow, 10 to 15. It sold for 8. Huh. I'm actually surprised. Really surprised. Everything's there. Everything's there. There you go. Huh. It's like a brand new watch, basically. Has this ever been worn? Probably worn maybe once or twice. It was bought, was it last year? Amazing. Huh. Near mint condition, is saying. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Uh, good price. Good price. Okay. Moving along. Let's see what else we got. Ebel. I just want to pull up Ebel because, again, there's some guys trying to hype up Ebel. So we get the chronograph, yellow gold, right? Case only, right? You get the deployment, nice. Okay, you're getting this nice deployment buckle, which is cool. You know what? This is actually a good deal. Shit, now that you think about it, it's actually a good deal. Like, this is like, basically, you got the Zenith movement, right? The El Primero movement. It's like, it's like your Daytona. Like, you want a Daytona? This is just as good as the Daytona when you think about it, right? Same exact movement. I mean, I guess Rolex tuned it for them, but Ebel was the proper choice back in the 80s, early 90s even. You get a date. That's pretty cool, the way that they have the date at the bottom there by the right between the 4 and the 5. That's a nice touch. Huh. That's yeah. Listen, 3,400 was the hammer, 3 to 5. So basically, it's sold. Yeah, 3 to 5 was the estimate. It sold for 3 grand roughly. Good buy. Again, a lot of good buys over here. Okay, Oyster. So if you're ever wondering, what is the entry price to get into Rolex, right? To get into the Rolex game. Now, this is a 34 millimeter. So I mean, it is a men's watch, to be clear. It is a men's watch. It's sort of that intermediate size. So these are actually kind of popular in Asia. And the price, look, again, what are you getting here? You're getting, Oyster Perpetual. You got the smooth bezel. Smooth bezel. This is it looks like a 60s watch, right? 60s. Yeah. But 2750? 2750. What was the estimate? The estimate was 2,000, 2 to 4,000, sold for 2750. Good price, right? I mean, you can find these for like 2,500, 3,000. But yeah, and if you put it on a strap, great watch. Actually, no, you know what? For this thing, you just might as well wear it in a brace. I wouldn't even put any more money into it. And you probably will never, ever have to service this watch. You'll probably never have to service this watch. It's yeah, again, slightly small size, but it's okay for $2,700. Anybody can get into the Rolex game, and by the way, that's a proper watch. So let's say you can't afford a $10,000 Rolex, you can't afford a brand new Rolex. That's fine. You get one of these, and when you're wearing one of these, people will assume that, wow, this guy is probably inherited from his grandfather or somebody. It's got that old money vibe. And 34 millimeter was a perfectly normal size back in the 60s and 70s. All right, Daytona. This is the Peruvian Air Force watch. Fuerza Aérea del Perú, FAP. Okay, so the Peruvian Air Force actually gave these out to their pilots. Okay, so basically they had this thing stamped on the back, Fuerza Aérea del Perú. Fuerza Aérea del Perú. That's the watch. And from what I understand, a lot of people, they shave down that thing, which actually that's the thing that makes it valuable now. But back in the day, people didn't want to be associated with Peru. Yeah, because I guess, I don't know, Peruvian marching powder? I don't know. So this is early 60s. Early 60s. Wow. 47 grand. And the estimate was 40 to 60. So there's, there is your market price. If you're looking for one of these, that's kind of where it should be. All right, what else we got here? Breitling. Oof, Breitling. Nasty. Actually, you know what? Let me pull this up. I'm just curious. This is like 80s? When was this watch made? Wow. 1990s. 8 to 12 estimate, sold for 7, so below estimate. And what's the size of this? How big is this thing? This is, why don't they put the size in here? Shit. Okay. I mean, the gold value in here is probably 5 grand. Breitling. Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's keep rolling here. Let's keep moving on. What else is interesting here? Breguet. Okay, we have some Breguet fans. Relatively modern tourbillon, right? And this is what was this? This is 25 to 35. 25 to 35. Okay, that sounds right. Okay. 25 to 35, and it sold for 43. Wow. Interesting. Kind of surprising, no? I'm actually surprised it was that much. I mean, that's the thing with these auctions. You really never know where things are going to end up. Like, you would think that this is kind of, again, Breguet is not the most, they're not the hottest brand exactly. I mean, they're relatively, I don't want to say cold, but I wouldn't say they're lukewarm. It's somewhere between tepid and cold. I don't know. So yeah, that's a crazy price. Very surprising result. Okay. GMT nipple dial, beautiful Jubilee bracelet. Wow, 27 grand sounds like a decent number. Yeah, sounds like a decent number. 15 to 25. So that was a little low. It should be like mid 20s, high 20s. Nice example. Again, when you think about this compared to modern Rolex, 25 grand, is that again, what are you paying for a modern GMT, a Batman, or whatever tomato can watch? They're what, like 15 grand in the secondary market, something like that. And they're not going. I mean, those that's like dead money. These vintage pieces in full gold, those are increasing. Those are going to be increasing in price, I believe. Let's see, keep rolling. We got a Milgauss. Wow, 10 grand. I'm surprised. This is like real price, real, black dial for 10,000. 8 to 12 was the estimate, and it sold for 10.4. Wow, okay. It's actually a relatively healthy number, right? I would have thought it would have been like, in the nines. I know we're it's not a lot of, $500 difference, but still, like, to go over 10 grand for a Milgauss kind of tells you something is up. Wow. Okay. Shit, how did I miss this? This is we got a JLC date moon phase, date moon, white gold for 6 grand. Fuck. I'm annoyed. I'm really annoyed. 48 was the estimate. That was kind of a low estimate, but okay. Is that a deployment? I'm actually annoyed, really. Shit. That's a good price. And those hands are loomed. Wow. This is interesting. So you got the Rolex Cellini Platinum. It's an ice blue dial. I've never seen one of these. I mean, it's like 4,000 to 8,000 estimate. I mean, nobody cares about. Oh shit! It's even got a deployant. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to make of it. Hold on a second. How much? Wait. What was the price again? 10 grand. Okay, so it's not not exactly a bargain. 10 grand. So 4,000 to 8,000 was so it was a low estimate. Sold for 10 grand. How big is the watch? I don't know. It's got to be a decent size. It's a kind of a cool looking watch, right? Again, Cellini is the dog of the race. So the problem with this is, like, what is it, right? You don't know what this is. It's not, it's not a real Rolex, right? It doesn't, it's not the Rolex that people want. It's not like it's not the best of breed thing. It's not a real Rolex, right? And it's not what is the Cellini? Are they trying to be like a Patek? Are they trying to be who are they? Who are they trying to be? We never really found out. Um, the thing about the watch is kind of it's very modern looking. Like, if you're gonna buy if you're gonna buy one of these modern Pateks, if you're in the market for one of these modern Pateks, why not just buy this? Like, if you want that kind of modern look, and this is actually better looking. This is better looking. This is a good value. I mean, it's a little bit of I don't want to say it's ugly. The design is kind of, it's not quite classic, but it's, for 10 grand, you really need to get that dress for whatever reason. For some people might like it, but I think it seems like a reasonable price for, again, platinum watch. For platinum watch, and I'm not a platinum fan, but they do sell at a higher price, so I'll give it that much. I'll give it that much. We got Tiffany. Well, by the way, this is a legitimate Tiffany dial, legitimate, because it's by Tiffany, and this is made out of silver, sterling silver. Wow, I remember when they were making these back in I think the 90s. They were really hyping these things up. How much did it sell for? 1,000 to 2,000 was the estimate, and it sold for $990 with the premium. I gotta say, it's not a bad watch. You give this out as like a gift. I don't know. The only thing with silver, I've never really seen silver used in a wristwatch. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never really. It's like, what is it going to tarnish, or what's going to happen to it? Okay, MBNF. Let me catch up with. Let me see. We got anybody in the chat here? Perfect. Ha 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 ha. No, that wasn't me saying it. That was the tomato can. That guy Juan, the elderly gentleman, the fanny pack dealer. Juan, the hubcap thief from Miami. I mean, listen, this guy's been on the same watch market for the last 3 years he's doing it already. I mean, this guy doesn't have any new material. I mean, it's like. By the way, here's the reality: the watch market is not dead. Okay, what we're seeing in the market really is like kind of normalized prices. This is kind of where things were in I don't know, 2018 or 2019. Before the whole COVID hype took things up. And things are basically normalizing. I mean, look, the era is kind of going out of the blue, but you're not seeing people. This watch is selling all the time. Literally, the watch market is very, very active. It's very active. But people kind of are more particular about price. So you gotta mark things down to where the price is. Like what we're seeing here in this auction, those are the real prices. Okay, so. Don't listen to this tomato can Juan. This guy is a moron. He's basically a backpack. He's not a backpack dealer. He's a fanny pack dealer. All right, that's what that guy is. He's a grifter trying to lowball people on watches who are desperate in Miami. That's what the guy does. He's probably trolling like Facebook groups or Craigslist, trying to find desperados who need to sell their Hublot to pay the rent. That's what that guy does basically. What brand? This is a Adidas golf shirt. It's a golf shirt. It's like a cheap golf shirt. Actually, I was going out to play golf a little bit later. Which, by the way, I used to be able to get these like at a discount because I don't want to pay new. I'm not buying these at retail. It's like a joke, right? Like if I'm going to be playing golf, like I'm not paying retail. I was able to buy these on like an Amazon. They were like $30. And they fit me pretty well. You know what it is? It's because it gets really hot out here, and the nylon, whatever this material is, it dries quick. It dries as like instantaneous out here. So it's good for like outdoor type stuff. All right, let's go back to this over here. MBNF. Very hyped up in the market right now. MBNF. I shouldn't say hype, but in the independent market, people are they're getting a lot of traction. It's sort of like the mainstay now of independents. So 120 grand for the perpetual calendar. And we actually covered this in one of our collector reviews. Like, most of these guys who are serious collectors of independent brands, they all have an MB&F perpetual like this, maybe with a different color or whatever, but they got one. 80 to 120, 80 to 120, and it's sold, near that 120 range. Now, how much are these? How much are these in the, how much are these on Chrono? I'm just curious. Just curious. MB&F. Okay, just looking this up here. So, on Chrono, there's only one listed here with a price, showing a price. There's only one guy showing a price. And this is about 180. And this is the salmon dial. And I know there's, again, there's subtle differences. Is this steel? Okay, this is steel. The other one's titanium. So it's a new watch, 2023. So 180 grand. Okay. And you got another one, which is, what's with these photos? What's going on with these photos? I don't. Okay. Oh shit. It's this guy. Wait a minute. I think it's these guys. They were trying to sell because it's from the Keystone, which is these dudes. Why? What's going on with my picture? Why are my pictures fuzzy all of a sudden here on some of these watches here? So I guess they were trying to sell for 210, and now it's sold for 120. Is that what's going on? I don't know. Is this the same watch? MB&F Legacy. Hang on. No, it's a different watch. Okay, it's a different watch. Okay, I don't know. I'm not. There's some nuances there. Okay, all right. My favorite watch, the Yachtmaster. The Yachtmaster. We got one on the wrist. Of course, the two-tone version. Now, this is the nasty one with the gray dial with that stupid Tiffany blue hand, or rhodium dial, I think they call it. Oh, no, shit. No, I'm sorry, guys. This is 37 millimeter. The watch here is a 37 millimeter. Wow, that is... Who would buy that? Because technically, the 37 millimeter is... technically, it's almost a lady's watch. Actually, it's bigger than the traditional men's watch, but they were trying, I think, selling. So $9,100, 8 to 10. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that. Great dial. It's ugly. Let's see. Rolex Submariners. You got more of these Submariners. Okay, you got the Glashütte. Okay. I just want to bring this up, by the way. Okay, so you got the Glashütte. Platinum. Wow. The Lunar. What is the Pano Lunar? $7 grand. I think that sounds relatively cheap. Now, this thing has been used, right? You can see it's been banged up. The rotor, I love that rotor, by the way. I love the rotor design. Great rotor. Yeah, it's a beautiful design for the rotor. The way the logo looks and everything. Huh. The buckle is also amazing. Again, it's sort of like, if you like Langenson, why not just get a Glashütte? It's same company, basically. Same stuff. Same ideas. 7,700 sounds like a very reasonable price. This is a limited edition, 93 of 200. How much? 612 was the estimate. Sold at the low range. Hmm. Interesting. Seems like a good deal. There's some good deals at this place. What else? What else? What else? Ulysse Nardin. I remember we went through this watch, right? This is a kind of the what do we call this? The oligarch watch. You get a date. Yeah, this has got a very Russian look. The fonts have that very Russian, that 19th century Russian vibe. 4 to 6,000 was the estimate. Yeah, who would buy this except for some like mid-level Russian oligarch type of guy? I don't even say oligarch because this is really a cheap watch, but actually no, an oligarch would buy this. It has that very Russian vibe. Ulysse Nardin. How big is this watch? Doesn't say. Oh, sorry guys. Let me go back to here. Let me go back to here. Okay, we got the Mings. We got Mings and Baltics. Wow. Okay, just a cheap watch. Ming, interesting watch, right? But they're getting decent prices, right? $2,600. $2,600 for this dual time Ming, or GMT as they would say. 2 to 4 was the estimate, right? So it sold for $2,600. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, we saw this one. Okay, the Patek Aquanuat in yellow gold, early one, 36,000. This actually looks really good. This thing looks really, really good. The yellow gold with the combination, the black rubber, it looks good. I gotta say that much. I think it looks a lot better with yellow gold than it does with steel, because the steel is very boring, and when you do the yellow gold, it's kind of fun. It's a little funky, right? Because you have this kind of I don't know. I'm not even gonna call it a sport watch, but it is kind of just a funky watch. It's kind of fugly, right? But when it's in gold with the rubber, it's an unusual combination. It just looks unusual. So I actually kind of like this. If these prices were cheaper, I might be tempted, although I've never liked them. 35 to 45, so it's sold near the low. All right, I think that pretty much covers it here. I think that pretty much covers the update here. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. We'll wrap it up again. Make sure you get our free weekly newsletter, and I'll close.